All right, it is Monday, March 4th, 2024. I'm in the bar. Why am I in the bar? Let me put this out of the way. Read my emails. Trying to work while I'm out in the bar. Well, I'm out here because I had an interview set up with someone. I won't say who. Just had some technical difficulties, so I came out here and got, turned on everything. I think because this is like the best place for me to do any kind of interviews, or the car, obviously. But no, it's good out here. It's kind of the area and that I like to do everything, not in the house, not bothering anybody, and bring the dogs out here, and they like to chill, open the door up, and have a cigar and have the fan on and let everything flow, enjoy it. So I was looking at the crypto market today. Imagine that. We all do, watch it go up. A lot of excitement right now. Bitcoin is at, let's just mark it. On CoinGecko, I like to go to CoinGecko. I used to look at CoinMarketCap, but I don't know. I kind of like CoinGecko right now. That's what I'm on to. That's my thing right now. So we've got, Bitcoin is at about $66,600. Looks like it's about right at its peak. According to this, it went up to close to $67,000. That puts us at our really close to the all-time high back in 2021, which was an interesting year to me. So I just want to talk about that stuff a little bit, just kind of my feelings and experiences and what I've seen. But in 2021, we're on a 4-year cycle. Okay, you hear this 4-year cycle thing all the time. What it means is, and it's really based on the Bitcoin halving, because it halves approximately every 4 years, give or take a few days. The next Bitcoin halving is around April 20th-ish. So a little over a month and a half, and we will have the supply of Bitcoin that comes onto the market cut. Each block of transactions will have less Bitcoin rewarded to the miners. Right now, there's 900 Bitcoin a day coming onto the market, and that's getting eaten up by the ETFs, and then some, a lot more than that. So the demand is there. It's getting accumulated. And if you're not selling, if nobody's selling, then, price has got to go up, right? But what happens in April, it goes down to 450 Bitcoin a day. Now you're getting kind of low. I mean, that's not a lot. And that'll be, 450 Bitcoin until the next halving 4 years from now. And then you're down to, 225, which is getting really low. So that's a lot of what's going on. And that's why you have a 4-year cycle, because more people come into the market. There's less Bitcoin to buy. Price has to go up because supply and demand. And right now we've got a lot of demand, it looks like, on these ETFs. So that's why the price is really going up. And it's very close right now to the all-time high. I would think just, normal cycles that would be resistance. That's going to be a number that once it blows through that, and it goes to $70,000, it's a big deal. At that point, man, it could fly, right? Will it get to that point? I guess. I've been saying that I don't think it will. I don't think before the Bitcoin halving that we'll see an all-time high in Bitcoin. And we're really close now to proving me wrong. And that's okay. It's just kind of how I see things. This thing has moved up so fast, so hard that all markets tend to correct and tend to do something. There's a lot of rumblings out there with issues with the banking system. The stock markets, NASDAQ, I think, hit an all-time high last week. You've got NVIDIA, which, a big contributor to AI going forward, a lot of speculation. They're going to make a lot of money and do a lot of things. So there's a lot of kind of FOMO and froth into the markets. And it's almost, to me, like I feel like we're going to get rug pulled. That's just my thought. And so I think Bitcoin would tie into that. And that's why I didn't think, and I still don't think, it's going to go to an all-time high. I know we're right there knocking on the door. Watch as I'm making this video on Monday, March 4th. It'll probably go to an all-time high. But it still does not negate the feeling that I have that we're going to get some sort of event this month in March that will do something to scare people. Put it that way. When people get scared, they liquidate. They go to cash. They might, if there's a banking crisis and things need to get paid, people go to cash. And so any asset is going to get knocked down. Now, the alternative to that is if we are truly at that moment, the reason why I got into cryptocurrency, if we are at that moment, which we very well could be, And that will prove, my thinking that we won't go to an all-time high. It'll prove it wrong. It could be that, the economic system truly is falling apart and things are really unwinding and there is a lack of confidence in the dollar. People will flee out of the dollar and find any asset that can soak up those dollars and hold any kind of value that they can possibly find. And one of those would be Bitcoin and other good cryptos and gold, silver, real assets. That could be where we're at. I mean, this could be the end game where the rug is getting pulled and we're seeing a new financial system being created. I'm not 100% sure yet. I still think, because I'm so used to it, I guess it's a normalcy bias that they're going to keep kicking the can down the road. They'll print trillions of more money to continue to bail things out, and the artificial stimulus, the dead patient on the table, they keep transfusing that patient, even though it's bleeding out. So they got to keep putting more blood into it, even though it's leaking out one side of the body. They put it in the other side, keep hitting the heart, keep it going, defibrillate it, keep that corpse going. And that's kind of where we're at. At some point, it will fail. Will this be the time? Is it now? It's possible. If that is the case, I would definitely want to be positioned. That's why I'm in crypto. I would want to be positioned in those things that you can hold in your own possession, that you can hopefully will have some sort of value, that you can interact with each other, trade, use some form of money that works, because we're talking about a scenario where the money breaks down, it doesn't work. Nobody has faith in it anymore. And I got a dollar bill sitting here, keep it for props, on the shows, hash it out and happy hour. But when you lose faith in this, when somebody hands you this and you say, I don't want that, that's a moment where you better be into something that actually holds value. And I always carry these around with me. Some silver coin and a copper coin. And this one's just rubbed. Look how worn off it is. Look, you can't even see the edge. It's all worn. It's a silver eagle. And this is just a copper round, just 1 ounce of copper. You want to be holding things of value because, if it does collapse, if things do fall apart and people don't have faith in this anymore because they have no faith in their government, what good is it? And this is the Federal Reserve note, after all. Look, it's not redeemable for anything. But you can pay all debts, public and private, with it because the government said so. But the Federal Reserve note comes out of the Federal Reserve. Look at the older bills, and they'll have silver certificate on it to where you can take it into a bank and get $1 worth of silver because it was actually backed up. This is backed by nothing, and that's why you can continue to create more and more and more, and that's why I think they'll go to 50 trillion. Right now we're $35 trillion in debt. We have unfunded liabilities such as future Social Security payments, Medicare, all the things that need to be paid, like over $200 trillion. So that money is going to have to be created or come from somewhere in the future. Now, here's what could happen. Keep the cigar lit. What could happen, I should have done this live. What could happen is we have a situation where they know what's coming, the powers that be, the vampires that run the casino, and what they're going to do is say, okay, we need something to transition into, and that's usually what happens. They'll have a war, and instead of the pound sterling, it becomes the dollar. So what's the next thing that they can roll into? Well, we've already test run it for several years. We've seen that people will buy cryptocurrency. They do believe in it. They will put their money into it. They will ride that up. So, because they've done a dry run on this. They know that people are going to come in and buy crypto, and you're seeing it right now because the number go up. So, what if they put in a system to where they can hijack as much of that crypto, or I should say Bitcoin in this case, it'll be the other cryptos, but right now it's Bitcoin because that's got the majority of the market share, first mover advantage, that kind of thing. What if we just go ahead and acquire as much of that as we can, and that'll be our new gold standard, and we'll be able to suck up as much money as we want, and all the excesses with that, it'll sponge it all up. But we got to hold it, because if we don't hold it, then we lose, because the people hold it, and then the whole thing falls apart. So they need to be able to control the next form of money. What better way to do that, in my mind, than to just open the floodgates and let all the institutional money come in through an ETF or multiple ETFs? And I don't see a lot of people resistant to that. I see a lot of people excited about that because everybody's excited. You know, you're almost at a euphoric stage where, yes, the number just keeps going up and up and up. And you watch the videos of people right now, it's going to keep going up, keep going up. People that used to be freedom lovers and, you know, love the Satoshi white paper. If nobody's read that, go out to clintwestwood.net, and I've got a copy of it out there. But the Satoshi white paper, you know, go read that and what that means and what that really was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. And to me, without going through a financial institution was the biggest part of it. But now what have we done? We've allowed financial institutions to come in and acquire a lot of it, more and more of it. People are happy when they see Michael Saylor talking and being the leader of the charge. You know, hey, get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the best thing ever. But that is technically kind of in a financial institution. It's locked up into a stock. It's locked up into a company. It's not a private party. And he's not sending peer-to-peer transactions. He's holding it, hoarding it. And it's just like gold. And I see that happening right now with Bitcoin, to where that seems to be the chosen standard, where they're going to hold it and they're going to control it and they're going to control the new system. And they don't care if it goes to 100,000. They don't care if it goes to $1 million, as long as they have control of it. Because sure, roll your pension into it. So you rolled it into one illiquid asset into another illiquid asset, because Bitcoin will be illiquid. It will be seized money. It will be locked up. And it will not be able to be withdrawn. You will not be a custodian of it anymore. You will not be able to operate outside of a financial institution, like the white paper said. You will be locked into it, because there will come a point where there's no more Bitcoin. You're not going to be able to get it. So the 450 that come onto the market every day after the next halving, that's it. Nobody's selling it. And there are people who will sell it and, you know, and try and buy things with it. I get that. But for the most part, you've got a lot of people who are just going to lock it up. I mean, if their pension fund is in it, if their pension fund is locked up into it, it's going to have the same regulations, the same rules. They're not going to let you withdraw it. They don't let you withdraw your pension right now without all kinds of penalties and hoops that you have to jump through. So what makes you think it's going to be any different? It's going to look good because it keeps going up, 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 just like, you know, when it's tied to the stock market and the stock market goes up, everybody's happy. But do they benefit in the real world? I mean, are you able to use that capital for things, or is it just a promise for the future happiness that you think you're going to be a part of? That's the thing you got to look at. This is why the cigar always goes out. I get talking. But so I kind of feel like that could happen. But on the, you know, I think that's what will happen. But in the short term, I still have that just feeling that since it's getting so scarce and so difficult to acquire the Bitcoin, there needs to be a fear event to shake the last remaining hands out of it. Because face it, right now, everybody who has Bitcoin really hasn't lost any on Bitcoin. They're even or way up. So if somebody starts shaking that tree and scares people, and, you know, all the FUD will come out and, oh, we're going to need to regulate Bitcoin, and people will come out, you know, Jamie Dimon will roll out and say, oh, Bitcoin's terrible. I think he did the other day. I don't know, somebody did. The government, the White House came out and said it's Bitcoin mining is bad for the environment. You know, they use that one. They've used that one forever. Even though if you're mining, you're looking for the most efficient form of electricity that you can get. You're trying to be not wasteful. But, and that's a whole other thing. Yeah, I don't even want to go into that. But you can mine Bitcoin in places where you can't get electricity because the transmission costs. But if you go right to a location like a volcano, you know, it has no infrastructure built to it. But if you can put that in there and mine, okay, well, you know, you're utilizing energy that's already there that's really not being used. So I think they want to get more of it because they're greedy and they don't think they have enough. So I can so see it happening very soon. I think it has to happen soon because you really do have a supply crunch. I think we're probably here in March, and I just have that feeling they're going to rug pull us and knock the price down so they can acquire more. They want you to get you to let go of it and give it to them. That's always been the game. They want it. They want the asset that they can control. They want to hold the gold in the vaults. They want to be able to control the gold market. They want to be able to control the silver market. They don't want you taking possession of it, because it's important to have those things, because it's sound money. And what is sound money? Sound money is that form of money that can exist when the government fails. When the government goes under, it still works. It's not like you have Confederate notes that only work if the Confederacy had won. No, those are worth nothing now. So when governments fail, you need a form of money that's not going to fail with them. Gold serves that and has. Silver has sold that or served that purpose. Bitcoin can serve that purpose. Litecoin can serve that purpose. Any solid cryptos that have been around for a while. I like DigiByte, I really do. Dogecoin is kind of one of those at this point, because it is merge mined with Litecoin. It is the same network, the same hardware producing those coins, transactions being validated. So those, and you can hold them in your possession, low cost to send them, money for the people. Those are things that are important going forward, because those things will continue to work if the government fails. Now, there will be a hit in confidence in anything, and yeah, the dollar price might go down, but if there is no dollar, what is the price? What's the price of that ounce of silver in your pocket, or ounce of copper in that pocket? Now the copper is the same cost as the silver, and silver the same cost as what gold used to be, because you can't get it from anybody anywhere else unless you've got it, or you try to give somebody something for it. It's like, well, I've got, I raise chickens, I got all these eggs, and I want some of your silver, so I'm going to give you dozens and dozens of eggs for an ounce of silver. Those are the kind of situations that you get into, and I know that it will go to that point. I just don't know when. I thought it would have happened before now. I thought 2008 would have been that moment, but no, we've expanded and expanded, throughout the whole pandemic. You printed up $7-8 trillion. And it just keeps expanding and expanding. It keeps going on and on and on. But it's all a confidence game. They couldn't have done that if everybody saw through that whole escapade that they put out. If everybody said, no, this is BS. You're not printing all this money for this stuff. This is ridiculous. It's not even an issue. But enough people bought into it. So I don't know what the next game is. Usually they try to take you to war. Could be a cyber attack. Could be a financial, tied to a cyber attack, an EMP, something from the stars, who knows what it's going to be. They'll come up with something to hijack your energy and lock it all up. That's the key here. If you're putting your Bitcoin in an ETF, if you're buying it in an ETF, you're not going to get it back. It might look good on paper, but it's no different than owning a stock that you can't even withdraw. Now, you might be able to sell it back and forth for cash, for dollars, and then buy something with it, but that only works as long as the dollar system works. It only works as long as they give you access to it. That's why I call it a vampire casino. You're playing in the casino. They make the poker chips. They control all the poker chips. And they only work as long as you're playing by their rules in their casino. And at any time, they can say, nah, we're not going to give you, go to the window, and they say, nah, we're going to let you withdraw that. What do you do? Take them to court? Good luck. I need my money now. You're not going to get your money now. Sorry. We have it. It's our chips. You walked in, you decided to play. It's just the way it is. It's the unstated terms of service. So, those are some scenarios, I think, long term that I've always thought about, and I think we're getting very close. Could we be at that moment where we have a crack up boom, as Cliff High thinks, to where every asset, there's going to be a race for it, and it doesn't matter what the price is. I need gasoline. I'll pay $10 a gallon. I'll pay $20 a gallon. I don't care, because those dollars are worth nothing. Well, how much silver is it for a gallon of gasoline? You may be able to fill up your car, with an ounce of silver. You may be able to fill up 3 cars with an ounce of silver. Whatever it is, you're going to need real assets going forward, something that has value, that holds some value. Because people who have real assets are going to want something in return for that. And they're not going to want this. They're not going to want these. They may for a very short time, but the whole reason it collapsed is because of these. And once that awakening moment comes, it's all over, and you better have real assets in your possession. So I think it's a very dangerous thing right now that we're applauding the ETFs, thinking it's a great thing because financial institutions are taking control of your money, of your energy. It's a very bad path to go down, in my opinion. So I wouldn't celebrate the fact that, you know, everything's going up in dollar price because of this. It'd be one thing if we're holding it in our own possession, in our own wallets, and we have control over it. We are the custodians, and then the price goes up in dollars, which it would have anyway, and they knew that, and that's why they're trying to front load it and hijack it. I mean, they are behind a little bit, but look at how much they are acquiring every day and sucking into their system. That's the problem. And I would be very, very careful in thinking that that's going to work and thinking that you're becoming wealthy by putting your money back into the same system that Bitcoin was invented to essentially exit. So, if $66,000 Bitcoin doesn't really make you feel good about buying it, I would not hesitate to take a look at this over here. Take a look at some Litecoin. 4 times as many. The network's been running for almost 13 years straight, never failed in a transaction, never had to be reset. It was fairly launched. It is really a better form of Bitcoin from a utility standpoint. It is a scarce asset as well. There are 4 times as many as Bitcoin. And it actually has privacy built into it that's coming to mobile wallets. I think a lot of people are going to miss out on this just because they look at the price and they look at things like Pepe Coin or Shiba Inu and look at the price go up. Look at the price of the Bitcoin went up and Litecoin's done nothing. I'm glad it hasn't. It gives people much more time to acquire a finite asset, a sound asset, some sound money for the digital age. Again, let's do the math on this. 8 billion people in the world, only 84 million Litecoin that can ever exist. That's 1/100th of a Litecoin, 0.01 of a Litecoin for everybody in the world. So when you buy one Litecoin, you're essentially way ahead of the next 99 people. You buy 2, double it, and so on. And the cost of it, as far as what you put into it today, is so minimal compared to what you have, the energy that you have to put into acquiring something like Bitcoin that is now hijacked. And it really is hijacked with this ETF structure. It's not a good thing. I don't like it. I don't think that's why people got into cryptocurrency, at least people like me and a lot of the people I know. It's not a good thing to give your custodian your energy over to anybody. Hold it in your own possession. Find out how to do that. Write down your seed words, your seed phrase. Get it in your own wallet to where you are the custodian of your energy, because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Just like the white paper. Don't need a financial institution to go peer-to-peer and have electronic cash between each other. Barter, trading assets. You can do that, and you don't need all these big institutions to do that. And I think we've seen that they're not looking out for your best interests. They're vampire casinos. That's what they are. And you're playing with their poker chips. You need to exit that casino. All right. Be safe. Just don't give your energy away. Quit playing in the casino. All right. Love y'all. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Monday. March 4th, 2024. It's hard for me to keep track of dates. But yeah, be your own bank. All right. Love y'all. Have a wonderful day.